Onitsha Expressway after heavy downpour. And finally, from our website this morning, Soludo flags off 2022 farming season in Oka targets diversification of state economy through agriculture. These and many more are the stories you'll find in our website this morning, abstv.com. That's www.abstv.com. Okay. Very recently, we started seeing some improvements in our healthcare, though it's we have started. It started years ago when we got accreditation to most of these institutions, and now there seems to be a kind of boost to what we used to have. Mr. Simon, sir.
Okay. It's a welcome development. I thank the government and the management of Anambra State University, Anambra State Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital for the feat so far. I'm happy about it because it's always good that you have a well-established institution like that will take care of the health of the people. So I thank God that they are improving every day. And I believe that we will continue to improve on the past performance.
Okay. Olebe, what do we stand to gain health-wise after the accreditation of our College of Medicine?
Well, what we have seen in the past years, dilapidated system of healthcare, and you see our leaders, the politicians, they will always leave the environment to go to overseas for their health care, and then you see our system very dilapidated. Then when you our trained medical practitioners will prefer to leave the place and in search of green pastures, will leave the country, and then our health will be in jeopardy. So this is a step in the right direction, and I believe when these accreditations are done, also the equipment's upgraded, then I think we will stand a chance of having a better health care. And then it will be up to the level that our politicians who want to leave the country, because this is a taxpayers' money that are being wasted, unaccounted for. And then when you see the health system dilapidated as such, it doesn't tell good. So this is a step in the health direction, in the nice direction, and also encourage the state government. If you look at what happened yesterday, with the agriculture, the flag off, then you'll be able to understand that there are critical things that really affect us in this country. One is that the major area which we feed, the agriculture, depends so much on importation. In as much as we agree over 900 and something kilometers size of land, 900 and something thousand. So we are here depending on importation. Now, this government, there are particular things that has, shown, that has been shown over the years. One is that local farmers, they are the most, in fact, they're the people that produce most of the things consumed. Local farmers, they are the people, but they lack seedlings, they lack capital, and then these are some of the things that you hear Governor highlight yesterday. And then you see his efforts now to see how he can diversify in terms of assisting the farmers in using mechanized agriculture to target, to increase consumption and every other thing. So it's something that I've seen with this government, and it's very good, and I think these are steps, according to his manifesto, I think he's in line.
He's in line, and we are going to be to enjoy a whole lot if, by the special grace of God, this continues. But Mr. Simon, apart from lacking seedlings or provision of seedlings and maybe finance for improved agriculture, what about security for the lives of those that are in the farms?
That one is a very big challenge to the whole nation. I think somebody was saying yesterday, an analyst was emphasizing on that, considering the farmer that was killed in Abuja in the farm. So that is a very big challenge. And I think the state government ought to be encouraged because a journey of 1,000 kilometers starts with a single step. But the burden is on the federal government to ensure the security of our farmers. Because just as my colleague said, if our farmers are encouraged and secured, then the problem of having a lack of foodstuff in the country will be addressed. But when the farmers' lives are not secured, no, they will be scared going to the farm. And then we will all bear the consequences.
Okay, as the registration, voters registration is ongoing, we have seen a kind of surge that we have not seen before in this year's exercise. And then, okay, we come in. Okay, sorry. And then there's this increase in provision of machines and whatever. Are we also expecting extension of time to make sure that nobody is disenfranchised?
Well, I really like what is happening now. And also with the third force, if you ask me politically, the level at which the awareness or the sensitization is going, you see that INEC doesn't have to spend so much money anymore on voter education because it's now in the streets. Even average drunkard on the street knows about INEC voters card. So what happened? Is it that the situation, the people are tired of the situation, or they really want to partake in it? And now we see the surge in voter registration turnout, although it's not complementing the equipment we have, the accessories we have in place. But then I like the fact that INEC is being reasonable with the whole process. They are being considerate, and at some point they shift more equipment. But then, if there are equipments that are stored somewhere, what is it they're doing? It shouldn't be upon request that it should be released. You understand? So, just like the other day, before now, we saw that there is a local government here that has only just two tablets for registering enormous number of persons. And you see people who did pre-registration online and we are booked for a certain time, they'll be there. 3 hours before the time, they will be attended to. Then another batch comes. When I did mine, I was under the sun for a long time, up until by chance, I was opportune to register, so are other persons. But we waited almost the whole day. So it's a step in the right direction, and I encourage INEC to please release every equipment. No need to store any and wait for demand to release it. We have 200 million Nigerians to capture. So that should be in your mind at every time. And also make sure the system is syncing so that you can easily identify people who have already registered before and save them the stress.
I think they do.
Yeah.
They do. Most of them just discovered that they have registered before but did not pick their cars or have lost their cars, and that's provision for that. Okay, you want to say something before?
Just in addition, I think this will be an eye-opener to our people down this side.
Okay.
Because if you look at the surge, you will see it is mainly in here, Lagos and maybe Kano. And these are places occupied by hotspots. So what I'm saying is, if our people have addressed this, have followed this issue right from onset. So some people were saying that if you go up there, I came from Abuja just 3 weeks ago. So you see that the people, the awareness, we are already there. So they have started registering, even they go house to house. Then coming to what you asked about the extension of time, I think that is obvious. It's looking at the issue at stake. Somebody even raised it at the House of Representatives yesterday. So I think the INEC should do the expected step. They should take the step to address it, to make sure that every eligible voter is registered, so that they will not be disenfranchised.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's venture into the newspapers now. We'll have a whole lot of them to look at. But for now, let's start with the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph, the banner headline there says, ASU crisis, strike. ASU crisis complicated, says federal government. ASU crisis complicated, says federal government. Let's look at the riders under it, which of course I started wondering the relationship between these riders and these top stories. Okay, the first one says approves 109 e-learning centers for private schools at 964 million. And then other ones say federal government studying 706.72 billion naira London's Malabo oil process ruling. Federal government, that FEC okays 90.8 billion for works. Aviation Ministry's projects approves repeal of 60-year-old fire service. And then Owo Massacre, Senate tax security agencies to collaborate in tackling insecurity. These are the stories that I found on the ASU crisis. Complicated. It says federal governments, and we want to find out why the complication. Okay, let us look at other stories there. Operators, 3 airlines risk extinction in few weeks. 3 airlines risk extinction in few weeks. Train attack, release victims still sick, mentally unstable. This one is coming from their families. And then Okowa, why Delta assess CBN's 2.5 billion naira oil palm loan? Really? When you talk of oil palm, you should be talking to the east now. Okay, let's look at the right that I say rumor mongering on Wiki, and then Okowa, a dangerous twist, and Niogu. All right, and here I have 2023. I will work for Tinubu same way I worked for Lawan. That's coming from Oji Uzo Carlo, says party is supreme. All right. Down here, Electoral Act. Reps move to override Buhari's assent. Electoral Act. Reps moves to override Buhari's assent. Urge INEC to extend voter registration by 2 months. Okay. And then by the side of this paper, PDP screens Atiku's running mate today. Tinubu too, as APC settles for Muslim ticket, favors Northeast. Okay. Microsoft withdraws support for Internet Explorer and Pandemonium as suspected cultists invade teaching hospital to claim dead bodies. Wow. Okay, let's look at another paper too before we start talking. The next paper is the Daily Independent. Daily Independent newspaper. ASU, federal government committee may perfect fresh agreement soon. Oh, we pray. Federal government says ASU strike more complicated than initially anticipated. Okay, and down here we have a dark horse may emerge, Tinubu's running mates. A dark horse may emerge, Tinubu's running mates. Other stories coming from the Daily Independent. Electoral Act, reps to debate motion to override Buhari's veto on Section 84, subsection 8, and then 60 days extension of voters registration. Okay, that's 2 months. 45 local firms just for 4 million meters supply contracts. And then NSCDC deploys 9,747 personnel for Ekiti Gubapo. Impeachment. 24 lawmakers signed notice to impeach Oyo deputy governor. It's a long time we've stopped hearing this impeachment thing. Okay, we have not announced Atiku's running mate. This one is coming from PDP. Okay, let's look at the stories we have looked. Let's first of all look at this ASU story, Mr. Simon, as a former.
Yes, I think as they said, it is getting more complicated. One would have expected, reason would have suggested that both the federal government and the ASU would show a sign of concern on our students. By now, how many months have passed? Almost 1 year is wasted. And then there are still complicating issues. I think it is not in the best interest of the students and the society at large. So not agreeing or getting it more complicated is to the detriment of the nation and the society at large, at last.
What is the complication there? Is it not money they are asking for?
Give
us money for this, give us money for that, fund this, fund that. So is the complication that the federal government doesn't have money?
The complication now is, if you look at, a committee was set up to address it. But the both parties now are saying, maybe the federal government on their side is saying that maybe a deadlock is reached. And then instead of finding a solution to the initial problem, more issues are coming up, more areas of disagreement. So not only one thing now is the fact in issue. You have many facts at an issue. So that is the complication.
That is the complication.
I will also want to say that the issue with education in this country is the same reason we're having a setback in economy. I must agree with analysts or people who have opined that the reason for the insecurity, the reason for a lot of joblessness, the reason for quite a number of things in this country is because of poor education. Now, if you look at what has happened to us with COVID-19, as long as it were, students were out of school. Now, when the COVID-19 seemed to have been conquered, we have issue of ASUU strike. And this is likely to maybe outlive the 2013 6-month strike. And the direction this is going is not favorable at all. How do you explain the fact that you have a dilapidated educational system and you have
You are busy jostling for political positions?
You have, yes, all this, you have high insecurity in the country, you have a loss of job, high rate of unemployment, and here we are campaigning about 2023. Suddenly all these things are swept under the carpet. Then you hear some certain amount of money being laundered by some certain sect of persons. And it's just because of these baptismal names about money laundering, what do you call it now? Instead of calling somebody a thief, you're painting these things with sweet distance. And I remember when we were growing up, these are things that you run away from. You don't want to hear it. Now everybody is making it an order of the day. Now, how about renegotiation? I know that, yes, a government may not meet up with all the demands of a particular group. They may certainly not meet up. That is understandable. That is quite clear. But renegotiating to offer what you can do at a long term, because this is it's not about doing a short-term solution. It's something that we have to give a long-term solution to. But you now see what is happening now. They seem not to care. They complicate issues. It's looking like a law court where you keep adjourning issues 1 month after, 2 months after, 2 weeks after. And I know this convening costs money. When you convene any of these committees, you must fuel their cars. And this is another way money is being wasted. We are paying for mediocrity in this country.
It's a horrible thing.
It's so horrible. And the educational system is suffering. And children that are in these schools are suffering. And now, I think it's even an opportunity to start thinking how to disrupt the educational system of this country. Because looking at what is happening, there is no even a graduate. I came across a banner for a training organized by the Ministry of Labor and Employment. They said it's a graduate employability training. So I asked myself, somebody that spent years in a university is not employable. They need this employability training
to be employable
after
graduating
and it's
from
laughable.
University.
And it's quite laughable.
And
so this is the things we'll see about our society, and nobody is talking about it anymore, simply because people who are bargaining for this, who are claiming themselves for #1 candidates, some of them you can't even be proud to show their certificates.
They weren't properly trained. Okay, let's move on for want of time. Electoral Act, we're going to look at this now. Reps to debate motion to override Buhari's veto on Section 84, 660 days extension of voters registration. I'm still coming back to you. So what do you think that has...
What I see is a crystal clear, dependent legislative arm of government. They are not independent. If you see what has happened over the years, you see, there are some sections of the Constitution that are easily acted upon when it benefits a set of persons. For example, this word impeachment. When was the last time you had it?
A very long time.
Does it mean no government has ever done anything that was impeachment? At that moment, everybody will now run into the caucus of political this and forget that the process of governance requires you to be subject to the rule of law. At the end of the day, you see what is happening. Now, a certain states that operate on Sharia law, you see them destroying alcohol businesses because it affects or it...
1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah, hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Okafu Bernard.
Your name is what?
Okafu Bernard.
Okay, Okafor Bernard. You're calling from where, please?
Okay, I'm calling from Norway.
Okay, join us.
Okay, I want to put my what I just said concerning the education sector in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the problems I think we have, majority of our leaders, their children are not schooling in Nigeria. And that is why, even though this has to continue for strike for years, it's not their business, because their children is no longer schooling in Nigeria. So if the law can prove that every elected candidate, both governor, House of Reps, their children must be schooling in Nigeria, they put the mandate. If your children are grown up, you're not entitled for any post, because if they enter, they'll find their children outside going to school. And that is why they are suffering all this and don't keep quiet.
I see.
If they have money to buy a form of 100 million, what stops them to resolve the AGO strike? So it's very bad.
Did you hear that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Did you hear that?
I agree.
If they have money to buy form for 100 million naira, why our children at home?
That is true. We are almost saying the same thing. What I'm saying is we are talking of the complication. That the committee set up is a toothless bulldog. They could not address the main issue. That's what I'm emphasizing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we have a reasonable and a responsible government, in short, this type of thing, just as my colleague said, how can you have this thing on ground and they are talking of primaries, spending millions of dollars, giving to delegates, why our children are at home? The insecurity everywhere.
Yeah, hello? Hello? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
If I sit on this committee, it's very simple. Problem-solving approach and critical thinking has to come in. One, outline the issues. Which ones have stayed for a longer time before these new ones come in? Adopt the new ones. Then give timelines to the old ones. Then attach figures and deadline to it. Release these things. These are human beings. And all of them are in Nigeria. They understand how much you're spending
did you hear what,
to give it to another country.
What Okafor from Owerri suggested?
I agree, but then that particular bill cannot pass in the House of Assembly. I can assure you. That type of bill cannot pass.
Before you are a public officer in this country, you must ensure your children will be in public schools. Yeah.
And also, not just the public school. You see them, for those of them who are in Nigeria, they are in the private sector.
Okay, yeah, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. This is Samuel calling from Kaduna.
Samuel from Kaduna, you're welcome.
Yes. I thank the guests, especially the young man wearing a glass there.
Well,
I love his expression.
Thank you very much.
We're all in this together. Go ahead.
I want to make a comment concerning the area of Ojo Kano. One is telling that he's going to work to support Tinubu. You see, I don't know why our Igbo brothers are so biastic over themselves. You see, we are staying in the north. We know how they play their politics here. And the Oduduwa play their own politics. We are own brother, telling you that he's going to support an outsider, not his own brother. And we watch all the primaries, how Oboneonu was passionate and cautioning about the justice. Look at our Igbo brothers. My people Igbo, let's open our eyes. This couple of politicians that are misleading our youth and entire Igbo land, let's open our eyes and put them aside and use the materials that can bring good things in our land. It is a time that Igbos should wake up and let's fight for our rights. Nigeria belongs to all of us. It's not a group of people. Let's have a conscience that we will never fight ourselves again. Enough is enough. Nigeria is for us and is for our future. Let's stop pushing our destiny aside. Please, I tell God, thank every Nigerian Igbo, anywhere you are, get up, support your brother. P2B is the right judgment for now we have.
All right.
We trust in God, and
All right.
God we trust.
Okay.
Nothing will depart us from saying the truth whenever you are. Thank you and God bless you. Continue with this good program.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much this morning. Yes, in as much as that's need for the spirit of brotherhood, but that does not take away your political leaning from you. Politics is all about interest. You could belong to any political party you like, but then this tribal politics is not what we advocate for.
Encourage.
After all, so many people are campaigning for P2B that are not from this side of the world. Okay. All right, let's move on now. Let's look at the next paper now, the Daily Trust newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Trust, I have a running mate. I believe in politics of inclusion. This one is coming from Lalong. I believe in politics of inclusion, even when they have said that no Christian qualified to be a running mate. Okay, I see what you can't win without a Muslim running mate. That's coming from Carlo again. All eyes on Buhari, Tinubu, PDP screens contenders today. Other stories, how gas fuel bread prices raised inflation to 17.71% in May. Foreign reserve grows by $2.9 billion as banks tighten forests. Okay, do we still have other stories coming from here? Aftermath of primaries, National Assembly pushes for Electoral Act re-amendments. Okay, and the next paper this morning is the Guardian newspaper. On the front page of Guardian newspaper, VP, APC still consulting as PDP screens wicket today. Okay, and then under the name template, economy heads for collapse as Nigerians pay 876.6 billion naira for darkness. Oh my God. We are paying for darkness instead of paying for lights. WHO issues advisory on vaccines for monkeypox. Okay, what other story is of interest here? None. Let's get to another paper. The Nigerian Tribune, on top of the name template, PDP to screen articles running May today, and then NCDC confirms 36 new monkeypox cases in 15 states. Wow, I see the hold. And then the banner headline here is Southwest Ipman threatens to sell petrol at 180 naira per litre. Wow. Femi Soyinka dies at 85. That's Wole Soyinka's brother. Nothing wrong with Muslim tickets, still coming from Kalu. Inflation rate defies all measures, hits 11 months high. Okay. Let's actually look at this VP tickets, that the Muslim tickets, and one political party saying that they couldn't find a capable Christian candidate to be a VP for them, so for that's why they're going Muslim. And then the issue of PDP concentrating more on the South, choosing their running mates. Why not East?
Well, I think it's very simple. I've always argued that the politics in Nigeria...
Before you continue, please, somebody has joined us. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, go ahead. What's your name?
This is Talk and Do, speaking from Ghana.
You are calling from Ghana. You say your name is what? Talk and Do.
Yes, Talk and Do.
Talk and Do from Ghana. Okay, go ahead.
Good. You see, I don't have any problem with it, whether Muslim ticket or not. But the Muslims in Nigeria should know that now there is a suspicion in Nigeria that the Fulanis are trying as much as they can to Islamize Nigeria. This time is not time for that. And although saying that we are playing politics of ethnicity, you can see that not welcome in Nigeria. Looking at the things that is happening, Pastor Flower border going to Sene through Badagry Kano, you see what is happening. If you want to do census or you want to do everything to know everything, you should have everybody included in Nigeria to show that we are one. Then if you're a Muslim, we don't care. If you're a Christian, we don't care. But in the situation you are doing things to show that we are having a kind of plan. Look at the voters registration. Even though it's happening to voters card in the north, but in the east, it is very difficult to do machines to thousands of people. It is not a registration. It's indirect way of rigging election for people. But I'm only saying that nobody knows what that's working. We should just watch next May and see what God will have for Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Talk and do.
Well,
thank you very much.
I think I agree with what he's saying. But then when you want to talk about the issue of VP in Nigeria, I want to emphasize the fact that, or remind us that before now, we have been talking about presidential tickets coming to Southeast. Now, here we are debating vice president. What happened to Southeast is a question. I think what happened to Southeast is that they have refused to face facts. What is obtainable in Nigerian politics?
And Nigeria happens to
Politics
Southeast.
is a game of numbers. Everybody knows it. And when you make that argument, you seem to sound valid in Nigeria. But then, beyond politics of numbers, is a politics of ethnicity. Behind politics of ethnicity is another religious politicking. When you fill out all these things, and you come to a Christian setting, you see people who will now narrow down to say, who is a Catholic? Do you have more Catholic members? Do you have more Pentecostals? This has been what we do in this place called Nigeria. Now, when we want to talk about the standard politics we should be playing, it boils down to value reorientation. If a certain ethnicity cannot manage or adapt the fact that there is competence found in another ethnic group, then we are not going anywhere. You now see the type of force a particular candidate wields simply because he spoke. How about if he had matched it with money? We'll be where we are. But the issue here is that we are looking at it as if a particular ethnicity in this country are begging to be part of it.
Okay.
And until we change that narrative, it's not going to work. Now, I agree. Following what is being said, truth be told, Muslim has all the numbers. And for any candidate to win in Nigeria, you must talk about Muslim. There's no appendage to that. But then we want to talk about things the way it should be. You should consider all the ethnicity that. And I also want to agree with the last caller. He said, if it were that this ethnicity line was not drawn, and religious line was not drawn, and everybody we are handled as though we are all stakeholders, equal stakeholders in this place called Nigeria, then nobody cares what religion.
After in the past, we had modern tickets.
That's where I want to come in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
This thing came to the limelight in this administration.
Yes.
There's no pretense about it.
Yeah.
And just as you are saying, you know, Obieze Kwesiri once said it, that this is the most parochial and the nepotistic administration she has ever seen. So we cannot pretend about it. And I'm not even perturbed if somebody wants to go by whether Muslim or Christian.
Or traditional.
It is the effect, the result you will get will show you. But one thing that confuses me is even Tinubu, just as our brother is saying, I will call him our brother. Even the Ariwa people, the Ariwa people are saying that this is not good for Nigeria. Tinubu himself, I heard him yesterday. He said in Ekiti that it is a rumor. The people who are saying that he is going for the Muslim, it's not. It's that he will look for a Christian running mate from the north, and then our brother is championing it.
He's championing Muslim.
I think he's just making noise.
Now let me even add quickly, just a minute or two. When you're looking at this whole thing, let me tell you, there's something. It's not about religion. let me shock you. We have Southeasterners that are Muslim. Can they be VP? Can they be chosen as VP? We have Southeast Muslims. Can they be selected as they cannot fly. I can assure you, they cannot fly simply because, in as much as you're saying Muslim, it's because you have a bigger percent of Muslim people in the north. But some of those who are Muslim in the east, if you make that argument, you see that you'll be lost. Why? Because they will start telling you that since the presidency is now in the south, it is important that VP comes to the north.
Yes.
So it is not about religion. It is about ethnicity. Ethnicity is somewhere at the foundation of this.
But the PDP candidate is from the north.
That is what we are saying. The same thing. If the president is from the north, definitely reason demands that the vice will be from the south. If the president is a Muslim, by going by reason, you should look for a Christian. If the president is a Christian, then it is obvious that you look for a Muslim to be the vice in order to balance the equation.
That's a theory of balance. But in this part of the country, I don't think we talk about balancing. We just talk about who has majority, who will win election.
Okay, gentlemen.
Whose ox is God, and it's bad.
Okay, gentlemen, let's look at another problem away from politics now. How gas, fuel, bread prices raised inflation to 17.71% in May, and we are facing this. Let's join it with this other story that said that we are paying for darkness. Okay.
You see, when you talk about development, economic growth, the system has crippled the whole thing. Part of the things that fuel the process is, if you want to reduce dependence on fuel, you must make sure alternative supply is there. For example, the power supply. It's not even just in the area where I live now. It's fluctuating for about a few days. It's just about low voltage. You can't even do anything with it. Now, industries that are located in that area will fall back to their generators and alternative means, and then you have the cost very high. So consequentially,
almost 1,000 naira.
Consequently, you now see pure water that was 5 naira some time ago becoming 20 naira and 15 naira in somehow to reach areas. So what happened to us is that the particular economic structures that would have fueled economic growth is dilapidated.
All these politicians and the political actors in the nation, are they not seeing what we are seeing?
That's what I wanted to say. All these.
Where are they driving this nation to?
No, that is the point. Are they bothered? It doesn't concern them because they are not feeling it. They are very far away from the rural masses.
How do we make them feel it? How do we make them feel it?
That is why I told you, even if somebody is going for, they see this. The little move of this sensitization, awareness being created, you can see that even the people who were nonchalant, everybody now is rising. People are no longer happy. People are hungry and angry. So some analysts are saying it, that even the answers that was unexpected, the result, the consequence is enough to show you that even in this, some people, I heard some people saying that they are using their money to finance people to come and get voters. And I passed through INEC there now. It has never been so. You will see that people are no longer ready people have been pushed to the wall, and they are bound to react. So I believe God that something positive will definitely come out. People are ready to make a move and make a change.
Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the last papers we have this morning, which is the Nation newspaper, and then whichever one, the Punch newspaper. This Delhi that has just jumped into my mouth. The Nation newspaper. Okay, the banner headline there, last minute intrigues in PDP over Atiku's running mates. Same stories all over. In Kimi panel to scream Wike, anxiety among party chiefs over choice. Could it be that a lot of people don't even want Wike to be there or whatever? OPEC report, Nigeria's oil output declined. As is the hot here, issues in varsity union strike complicated, says minister. We have seen all the stories. Okay, let's look at the Punch newspaper finally. Okay. The banner headline there says, Wike Okowa first panel today, camps fight over Atiku's VP slot. Okay, the riders there. Atiku needs VP that can help rescue Nigeria from APC. Okowa's aide insists. And then Wike structure will give Atiku victory. Wike ex-Rivers Commissioner said. And then APC may unveil Tinubu's VP today amidst Muslim ticket controversy. Okay, down here, Ekiti, governor candidate signs peace accord. Okay, NSDC deploys 9,747 personnel just for a state government election. And when we have problems, I wonder where all these numbers were when it comes to fighting insecurity in this nation. Inflation surges again hits 17.71% amid rising prices. And this is what we should be discussing in the National Assemblies, and not just who gets ticket and who lost it, because that's exactly what is their problem now in the National Assemblies. Those of them that abandoned their domains and went for presidential ticket and came back and couldn't pick it is being fired. Okay, we just have to go. Let's look at this stories. What do you take home from these last two papers? Let me start with you.
Okay. I think I was about to say all the problems we are enumerating are just joined to show one thing: a failed system. If you look at both from the educational part, health-wise, security, and all of them joined together will give you one result: a failed system. So, just as you said, but our politicians are in the National Assembly there and at the various places, debating, more concerned about who gets the ticket, that some percentage of legislators will not return, and this and that. And you can imagine, because they have believed that it is left for them. Somebody will go for presidency. Then after that, you come back to retain your position. So we are just praying God to come and save us. It's only divine intervention that will save us.
All right, divine intervention to save us. Wike and Okowa, who do you give it and who do you think will make a better VP for Atiku?
Well, I don't think anybody will, and the reason is because I've not been interested in their politics.
We are talking politics generally.
Truth be told. And the reason I'm saying this is because their interest does not align with me. I've listened to their, for example, Wike's political campaign, when he was campaigning. You're a
political analyst. You analyze everything.
Well, if you ask me, I'm just giving my personal opinion. But when you look at the whole thing, Wike is from the south. Okowa is also from the south. Now, at the end of the day, what could be the conflict of interest? Is left for the party faithfuls to choose. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the whole, there is nothing they can do that would not be under the ideology of the president.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Mazi Oluebubengige, a public affairs analyst, for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And then Mr. Simon Nwafo Ezoforma, also a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been a very warm one this morning. I'd like to thank you, those of you that called from different parts of the world. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Sijama. Do stand by for other programs we'll have for you this morning.